30 September 1942. What if I told you there was a battlefield in World War II where the ground itself seemed to breathe death, where soldiers vanished into mud, fog, and screams? And even the medics, those sworn to save lives, walked straight into nightmares just to pull a single man back from the edge. Would you still call it war or something far darker? Welcome to the forgotten hell of the battles of Rzhev, a brutal, drawn-out slaughter between Soviet and German forces that history almost buried under the shadow of Stalingrad. Yet those who survived it would never forget the smell of wet earth mixed with blood, the eerie silence before artillery storms, and the haunting cries that echoed through frozen forests long after the guns stopped firing. This wasn't just combat, this was endurance pushed beyond human limits, where soldiers joked darkly just to stay sane. Yeah, real gallows humor. The kind that makes you laugh and feel uneasy at the same time. And right in the middle of it all were the medics, the unsung lifelines, running through open fire with nothing but bandages and guts. One Soviet medic, recorded in fragments of survivor accounts, crawled through a field under machine gun fire on October 14, 1942, dragging 3 wounded men one by one, each trip risking death, and by the third return, he found the first man already gone, eyes open, frozen in a stare that seemed to follow him for the rest of his life. German positions around Rzhev had turned the region into what soldiers called a meat grinder, with constant offensives ordered despite catastrophic losses. And here's where it gets chilling. During night operations, troops reported hearing whispers in the fog, not enemy commands, not even in recognizable language, just low murmurs carried by wind across corpses left unburied. And some soldiers swore they saw figures moving where no units were deployed, shadows rising and falling in artillery flashes. You can chalk it up to exhaustion, sure, but imagine being 19, freezing, starving, surrounded by the dead, and then hearing your name called from somewhere you know no one alive remains. On November 25, 1942, during Operation Mars, Soviet forces launched a massive assault aimed at crushing German lines around Rzhev, but it quickly turned into chaos. Entire battalions got pinned down in marshlands where tanks sank and men drowned silently. One horrifying report describes a medic trying to reach a wounded officer stuck waist-deep in freezing mud. The officer begged not to be left behind, but every step the medic took, the ground swallowed him too, until both disappeared. No gunfire, no explosion. Just gone, like the earth claimed them. Soldiers later joked, "Rzhev doesn't kill you, it keeps you." And yeah, that line stuck because there was truth in it. Bodies were often never recovered, identities lost, and even today, remains are still being found in those forests. Boots still laced, helmets still resting where they fell, like time refused to move forward there. Despite all this, acts of insane bravery lit up the darkness. Like a German field medic documented in December 1942, who treated both his own comrades and wounded Soviet soldiers during a temporary ceasefire that barely lasted hours, sharing morphine and water with enemies because at that point, survival blurred all lines, and soldiers on both sides sometimes exchanged cigarettes in silence, no words needed. Just a mutual understanding that they were all trapped in the same nightmare. The horror didn't end with battle either. Frostbite, disease, and psychological breakdowns were everywhere. Men laughed at nothing, cried in silence, or froze mid-action as if their minds simply checked out. And here's something that hits hard. Letters recovered from soldiers at Rzhev rarely spoke of victory or glory. Instead, they mentioned mud, cold, and a strange fear of the night. One line read, "It's not the bullets that scare me anymore. It's what comes after them." And you can feel that, right? That creeping dread that something worse than death might be waiting in the silence. By March 1943, German forces finally withdrew from the Rzhev salient, ending one of the bloodiest chapters of the Eastern Front. But at a cost so high it was barely acknowledged for decades. Soviet casualties alone are estimated in the hundreds of thousands. And yet, for years, it was barely mentioned in official histories, almost like the world wasn't ready to face what truly happened there. A battlefield where heroism and horror walked hand in hand, where medics became legends not because they survived, but because they ran toward death again and again. And here's the thing, you've probably heard of D-Day, Stalingrad, maybe even Kursk, but Rzhev? Most people haven't, and that's exactly why it sticks with you. Because it feels like a ghost story hidden inside real history. So now I gotta ask you, if a place like this existed where courage was real, but so was something almost unexplainable, do you think war just breaks the body? Or does it awaken something far more terrifying in the human mind? Drop your thoughts below because this one isn't easy to shake.